This program has been made possible with the support of Mars Bet affiliates. Share and win with Mars Bet.
Hello friends, it's once again time for thimbleberry season. This is why they call them thimbleberries, because they kind of fit on your finger like a thimble there. And she's got this hollow, when you take them off they're hollow in there, so kind of fits on your finger like a thimble. Sort of like a wild raspberry with a few ladybugs. Just protein. I love thimbleberry season. That's part of the reason why I'm glad to be back up here in the Pacific Northwest. But the main reason is I'm back from the threshold of hell down there in Las Vegas, where it was 118 degrees. Much more temperate up here in this climate. But just because things have cooled down outside, for me at least, that does not mean they ain't heating up in our industry, especially in the United Kingdom, where the Gambling Commission is now calling for public input on the recently published review of the Gambling Act White Paper. Now, I am not British. I don't know if you could tell or not, but I am not British. Therefore, I did not comment. I do all my commenting in these videos here. But what I found interesting about the Commission's request is the short video they uploaded to accompany it. In that video, the executive director of the UKGC says that they want feedback on the proposals in the white paper they published, which include, first, financial risk checks, which I assume are similar to, if not synonymous with, affordability checks. Number two, they want stronger protections for young people, which in the UK probably means anyone under the age of 24. Number three, they want more consumer control over marketing offers. And number four, they want an improved design of online games. Now, if you look at this list more closely, what jumped out to me at least about these proposals is the commonality of the word online, even though it's only used in the last statement. All of these things are directly pointing to online gambling over land-based. I mean, sure, there were some affordability checks carried out at betting shops in Britain. The ones that were carried out were met with public pushback. And the protection of those adults under age 24 also unfairly targeted online gambling. Specifically, they don't want us advertising to those under 24, but I don't see how that rule applies to land-based casinos. This segues perfectly into the consumer control over marketing offers, which is obviously aimed at our industry. And changing the design of online games, what are all the games in the casinos so freaking perfect that they only need to address online games? Clearly, online gambling is seen as the enemy and the threat to the British public, at least by these politicians. While land-based games, I'm guessing, are just some sort of tolerated evil? Because I just don't see how these proposals are practical or even enforceable in an online-based environment. They're not. So I guess my point is, buckle up, Buttercups, because here we were thinking this Gambling Act Review white paper wasn't going to be so bad, but we may have spoken out of turn. Hey, welcome back. There are some interesting topics being discussed in the GPWA forums, which I feel webmasters may find interesting. More on that in just a moment. Up first, our friends at the Betting and Gaming Council are welcoming new British online advertising rules. That may seem odd, especially in light of how strict the current rules are and how many adverts are already getting pulled by the Advertising Standards Authority, and how many fines are being issued because of alleged violations. But I believe that the Betting and Gaming Council is excited about a certain section of these new rules, which puts more responsibility on social media platforms. Now, I've reported on many fines and bans and ads being pulled over the years, most of which centered around some form of social media and the alleged violation. You know, at the same time, I'm noticing that these gambling operators that are being fined, for the most part, have done everything possible. They've done everything correctly to try to age restrict these adverts, but still, they get in trouble somehow. Now, some, if not most, of that responsibility will shift to the social media platforms, as it should. Of course, that means that you and I will probably see more verification processes and less privacy when it comes to our social media accounts, but hey, that's life in the big city, right? Before I go, I wanted to mention those threads at the GPWA forums. First, there's one on Gibraltar. It seems that banks in Gibraltar or on the periphery, maybe just doing business with other banks in Gibraltar, or businesses based there, are looked at as a money laundering risk. So if you're working with an operator or a bank or a payment system that somehow ties in to Gibraltar, if it hasn't already caused you issues, it certainly may cause you trouble in the future with your payments, or maybe your players getting money in and out. Also, sports betting in Brazil. That's a big topic among affiliates right now. I know webmasters always looking for new and exciting markets, but the discussion in the forums is about how that new set of laws is going to affect the players there and the marketing there. And so if that's one of your niches, if that's something that you promote, the Latin and South American markets, you might want to get over and give that a read as well. So I think that wraps it up. I've got my berries, I've got a nice temperature out here, and I've got the weekend coming up. So yeah, I'm excited. Tell you what I'm going to do though. If all goes according to plan next week, I'll come right back here and do it again. You know, God willing. It's like this pattern. I work and eat and get up so I can go to work, so I can eat, so I can get up and go to work, so I can eat. It's just this vicious circle. Hey, I'm gonna do that again. Didn't even make it a full second in. Whew.